All right, so let's say you've got this court clerk interview coming up.
Big day.
Huge. And you're looking around, and everyone else seems so, I don't know, polished and prepared.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one sweating it out in the corner, right?
Exactly. You want to be the one who walks in totally confident, like you own this. And we're about to make sure that happens.
That's right. Because acing this kind of interview takes more than just, like, knowing the job description. It's about really understanding what those hiring managers are looking for.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're checking out this YouTube video by Joshua Brown, an interview coach from How to Become, who breaks down exactly how to approach court clerk interviews.
And one of the things he really hits hard on is tailoring your answers, not just giving some generic canned response.
So it's not enough to say, oh yeah, I'm a stickler for details.
Right. They've heard that a million times.
A million times. You got to show them, prove it with a story. Like, have you ever caught a tiny little error, maybe a wrong date or a misspelled name? That could have messed things up big time.
Because, let's be honest, in a court, those tiny details, those can have huge consequences.
Totally. And that actually reminds me of another thing Brown talks about in the video, this idea of adding value. Like you're not just there to fill a chair, you're bringing something extra to the table.
And he gives this really great example. Imagine a candidate who says, hey, I'm really good at picking up new software quickly. And then they tie that into, so learning your new case management system, no problem. I'll be up to speed in no time.
It's like you're saying, I'm not just going to do the job. I'm going to make everyone's lives easier while I'm at it.
Exactly. And who doesn't want an employee like that? But let's take it beyond just tech skills. What are some other ways a court clerk can really add value?
I'm curious to hear your take on this because you've got the firsthand experience.
Well, one thing that comes to mind is being proactive. Like, could you streamline a filing process or make it easier for colleagues to find the information they need quickly?
Okay, so we've got showcasing specific skills, going the extra mile to add value. But what about the elephant in the room?
The pressure.
The pressure. Courts are intense. How do you handle that?
Oh, absolutely. It's not for the faint of heart.
Not at all. So what does our interview guru, Joshua Brown, recommend?
Well, he actually dedicates a good chunk of the video to stress-busting tactics specifically for a court setting.
Okay, because anyone can say, just breathe. But that doesn't always cut it when you're surrounded by stacks of files and a ticking clock.
No kidding. But Brown gets into the nitty-gritty, offering some really practical techniques.
Like what? Give me the goods.
Well, he talks a lot about prioritizing tasks, which, when you think about it, is super important in a court environment.
Right, because you're juggling so many things at once.
Yeah.
Cases, deadlines, requests from the public, attorneys.
It's a lot. So knowing how to prioritize what needs to be done right now versus what can wait is key. And he even suggests breaking down those bigger tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Makes sense, kind of like that whole how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time thing.
Exactly. And then he also emphasizes something that seems kind of counterintuitive, taking breaks.
Wait, really? In the middle of all that chaos?
I know, right? But he stresses the importance of short breaks throughout the day to just clear your head, maybe do some deep breathing.
It's like a reset button for your brain.
Totally. Because trying to power through nonstop is a recipe for burnout.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of stressful situations, let's talk about the people factor. Because courts attract all kinds. And not everyone is exactly a ray of sunshine.
You can say that again.
So how do you handle those, shall we say, challenging personalities? Asking for a friend.
Well, Brown stresses the importance of staying calm and professional no matter what. It's about de-escalating situations with empathy, but also knowing how to set boundaries.
Which I imagine takes practice. Like, you're basically the face of the court in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely. And that ties into another crucial thing he talks about, confidentiality.
Oh, yeah. Huge EE in a court setting. It's not just about office gossip. It's about people's lives, their cases.
Exactly. And the video emphasizes that need for discretion. Everything is handled with the utmost confidentiality, no exceptions.
Because loose lips sink ships, as they say.
And court cases. But it's not all just about day-to-day tasks and handling pressure. Brown also talks about the importance of having long-term goals.
Okay, so thinking beyond just getting the court clerk job, what's next?
Right. He actually suggests being prepared to talk about where you see yourself down the line and how this role fits into your overall career aspirations.
Right. It's like you're showing them you're not just there for a paycheck, you're invested in a future with the court.
Totally. It shows ambition, a desire to learn and grow, which any employer would love.
Makes you a good investment for them.
Exactly. And speaking of investment, there's one more question Brown highlights that I think really stood out to me. He says, be ready to answer. How do you stay up to date on changes in laws or regulations related to your job?
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. It's like, are you just going to clock in and do the bare minimum, or are you genuinely invested in staying current, being at the top of your game?
Because the legal world, it's not static. Things are always changing.
Constantly. New laws, new precedents, new procedures. A good court clerk needs to be on top of it all.
It's like you're not just upholding the law, you're keeping pace with it too.
Exactly. And I think that question, it reveals something really interesting about what courts are looking for.
Oh, tell me more. What do you see?
Well, they're not just testing your knowledge, they're testing your dedication. Do you have that drive to constantly learn, to adapt, to basically be a lifelong student of the law?
Because being a court clerk, it's more than just a job. It's a vital role in the justice system.
Absolutely. It's about accuracy, integrity, a commitment to making sure things run smoothly and fairly.
So it's not enough to just want any job. You have to want this job with all its challenges and complexities.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about passion, dedication, a real sense of purpose.
It reminds me of something you said earlier about how a court clerk is often the face of the court.
Oh, definitely.
They're the ones interacting with the public, with attorneys, with everyone who walks through those doors. So not only do they need that sharp mind and those organizational skills, they need that human touch, that ability to navigate all those different personalities and situations with grace under pressure.
And let's not forget that unwavering professionalism and commitment to confidentiality we talked about.
Absolutely crucial. It's like a delicate dance, balancing all these different aspects of the role.
Well said. It's not your average desk job, that's for sure.
Not even close. But for those who are drawn to this kind of work, who thrive in that fast-paced, detail-oriented environment where you're making a real difference.
It's incredibly rewarding.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, I think the biggest takeaway from our deep dive today is that acing that court clerk interview is about more than just reciting some memorized answers. It's about understanding what truly matters in that role. Meticulous attention to detail, a proactive and service-oriented mindset, and an unwavering dedication to upholding the integrity of the court.
I couldn't agree more.
Be prepared to showcase your unique strengths, your commitment to excellence, and your passion for this work. And remember, you've got this. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.